I want to show you guys the new spare tire straps that finally came in. We are back with a new batch of custom limited edition Desert Dime spare tire straps from Alpine Off-Road. The designs we have this time around are the TRD Heritage stripes right here for all the Toyota boys. And if TRD stripes aren't your thing, we have my personal favorite, the Desert Digital Camo right here. This is so badass. Now what's different this time around is I did not only just order Y straps, I also got single straps for the boys that are running standing spares. So if you guys need a high quality spare tire strap for your truck, you guys know I already got you covered. And I have to say one more time, these are limited edition. Once these sell out, I am not bringing these designs back. I will be moving on to 2 new designs. So go ahead over to shopdesertdime.com and grab them while they are still here. Also on the website, we have the 2 t-shirts. Right here, we have the Desert Dime t-shirt where we got Desert Dime written with the cactuses in the desert. And on the back, we have the actual Desert Dime. And over here, we have the OG logo t-shirt right here. Ooh, bam. There we go. So I urge you guys to head over to shopdesertdime.com, check out the merchandise, check out the spare tire straps. That being said, let's get into the video. So I had already recorded this video a couple of days ago, had the whole thing edited and ready to go out. Then last night I went out to get some B-roll shots of the headlights at night, as well as adjust them a little bit more than what I had previously done. After I had adjusted them even more and got them more dialed in, a lot of my opinions that I had already talked about in the video that was already ready to go out had changed now. I knew I had to come back and re-record the video because I can't put out a video with a bunch of opinions and thoughts that I had changed simply due to just adjusting them even more. So here we are with an updated version of the video a couple days later. Now alongside me talking about the 3 different series of headlights you can get and alongside me giving my opinions on the headlights, I'm also going to be telling you guys what information I'd given in the last video compared to what I know now that the headlights are adjusted. Sort of the reason why I'm reshooting this video 2 days later and making a whole new version of it. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the AlphaRex headlights on the 2nd gen Tacoma. First up, I wanted to give you guys some information on the 3 different series of headlights that AlphaRex offers. In order of least expensive to most expensive, it goes the Pro series, the Luxx series, and then the Nova series. Now the cheapest series, the Pro, to the middle series, the Luxx. Looks-wise, they look exactly the same. The design, everything about the headlight from the exterior looks exactly the same. What differs them is the features. The Pro series still uses a halogen headlight, while the Luxx series switches over to an LED headlight, making it so much brighter, so much crisp, so much clearer. Aside from that, the Pro series comes with none of the extra features that the Luxx and the Nova series has. The Pro series comes with a blinking turn signal, while the Luxx and the Nova comes with a sequential turn signal. The Pro series only has a 1-color DRL, and I'm not sure if that's white or amber, but the Luxx and the Nova series gives you the option between a clear and an amber daytime running light through a little module here in the bottom. The Pro series comes with no activation light sequence like the Luxx and the Nova series has, and an option you get to choose between all 3 headlights when you buy is either the black versus the Alpha Black housing. Now the difference between the black and the Alpha Black is that the black is a mostly black housing, but there are certain parts like the little outline here that comes silver, and the daytime running light lens is clear. When you get to the Alpha Black, the entire thing is blacked out and smoked out. The daytime running light lens here is smoked out, and that little trim piece around the actual headlight is black instead of a silver. But yeah, the Luxx series, which is what we have here on my Tacoma, is that sweet middle ground between the cheapest and the most expensive series, in the sense that it shares the look of the cheapest one, which I still don't think it looks cheap. I think it looks pretty badass. And it shares all of the features of the expensive one. But hey, since I'm already talking about price, let me talk about my buddy shop, Brando's Auto Care. The headlights I had before these were the stock ones that came on the truck, and after years of off-roading, I saw how cloudy they got, how scratched they got just from getting sandblasted, following people in the desert, just getting pelted with dirt and sand. They looked ugly. And after seeing how much these headlights cost, I knew I wanted to protect them so they didn't get abused as bad as the other ones. So I took the headlights into them, he put a PPF film over them. Now I am worry-free in the desert. I know that that film is protecting my investment. So if you guys are thinking about picking yourself up a set of AlphaRex headlights, go ahead and hit up Brando's Auto Care in Chino, California to get PPF put on those bad boys. Alrighty, now that you guys know about the 3 different series they offer, let's go ahead and talk about the ones I have here on my truck and my experience with them. Like I said, what I have on the truck is the Luxx and Alpha Black here. Let me give you guys a little bit of backstory of how I came to get these AlphaRex headlights. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you guys might have heard me bash people who spend all this excessive money on beautiful, good-looking headlights when all of that money could have been going into suspension, into shocks, into making the off-road performance of your vehicle better than what it is. Now you might be asking yourself, okay Dime, then how did you end up with the headlights when that money could have gone somewhere else performance-wise? Let me give you the backstory. So back at King of Hammers this previous year, I got into a little bit of an accident which ended up crushing in the whole front right corner of my truck. The headlight got completely smoked, but like I said, they were already sandblasted, already cloudy. I'd already cleaned them up once, they were already clouding again, so they were just old and worn out and tired. So I thought, okay, with this one being destroyed, might as well just throw a whole new set in while we're at it. So that's how I ended up with these headlights. Circumstances sort of warranted it. Now with that being said, let me throw a little disclaimer in there. Since the truck was in an accident and it went off to a shop to get rebuilt and stuff, so I wasn't the one that installed these headlights and I didn't physically receive the box and get to unpackage it all. So keep that in mind with some of the points I give in this video. Now when I got the truck back, I had some issues. One of which was the hyper flashing signal on my dash anytime I turned the headlights on. Another issue was the fact that the turn signals in the headlights were not working at all. And there was a third problem, but I'm forgetting what it was. I think it was something like, I don't know, the high beams weren't working or something. But this was no fault of the headlights at all. It was just a simple fact that some of the wires and connectors weren't plugged in. These headlights come with about 4 different wires / connectors in there, and all of them need to be pieced together for the headlights to work properly, obviously. So once I got them all connected, everything was working proper. But while I was trying to diagnose this hyper flashing issue and I was looking stuff up online, I noticed in some forums that other people were having hyper flashing issues. Now I'm not sure if their hyperflash issue was the same issue I was having where they just didn't have everything plugged in, or if theirs was a different issue. I did read that some people had to reach out to AlphaRex and had a certain part sent out to fix that, so I'm not sure. Now moving on to the next point, even though I didn't initially install the headlights, given that I had to go back and redo some of the wiring, it did give me some hands-on experience with both the instruction manual and the headlights themselves. Now the reason I gave that disclaimer is I didn't have the physical paper instructions that come in the box on hand. I had to go on their website and look up the instructions through the product page. So I'm not sure if they're exactly the same, if what came in the box gives a little more in-depth description than the online one. But one of the slight problems I had with the online instructions is that they just weren't super crystal clear, sort of holding your hand every step of the way. They gave a good general direction. They point you in the right direction. They give you a general overview of what you got to be doing. But there's just that little gap missing that you have to bridge yourself, if that makes sense. But hey, if Dime can do it, you guys can too. All you gotta do is just use a bit of common sense and you'll eventually end up figuring it out, which is, I guess, the reason why I'm redoing this entire video, because last night I had to bridge that gap just a little bit more when it came to the adjustment. So yeah, if there is any one thing that I had to complain about these, I guess it would just be about the instructions not being as clear as they could be. Again, it's still enough to get you to where you gotta be, but you just gotta bridge that gap yourself. So since I mentioned adjustment, let's go ahead and hop over into that category. The adjustment falls short to that problem of not enough instructions. In the instructions, they give some vagueness of how to adjust them, but they don't really hold your hand all the way. I think they show a picture of one adjustment dial and said, okay, clockwise is for this and counterclockwise is for this, and that's about it. What I didn't see in the instructions, and I could be wrong, but I didn't see it and I double checked, is that there are 2 adjustment knobs on each headlight and they're in 2 different areas. There's one that's further up top here on the back side of the headlight, and then deep down, once they're already installed, it's kind of hard to see because it's deep tucked in the engine bay, there's a second adjustment knob. Now one of the knobs is dialing the up and down height of the headlight and the other one is dialing the left and right of the headlight. If I'm not mistaken, the further up dial on the back side here is for the left and right, and the one tucked deeper down is for the up and down. Now, I'm not sure why they wouldn't put in the instructions that there's 2 different knobs, one for each adjustment, but I was even questioning myself when I went to adjust the headlights, is there a way I can adjust the left and right? I had asked people that have AlphaRex, they didn't know. I tried looking it up online, couldn't find any answers. So it was sort of me just digging around the engine bay and seeing a dial that looked similar to the other adjustment one, and just sort of trying it out and seeing if it did anything. Now the adjustment itself is what's making me reshoot this whole video, because some of the opinions I gave in the last time I shot this video have completely been changed now that these headlights are properly dialed in, aiming the way they need to be aimed. One of my previous complaints was when you look at these headlights, there's sort of a pattern to each headlight. When you're looking at the beam, it's sort of a line, a step up, and then another line, which bleeds into the next headlight's beam, which again is a line, a step up, and another line. And that drove me absolutely crazy. It drove my OCD up a wall. Because as I'm driving, all I see is like a staircase going instead of just a clean beam or a clean line of light. So that was driving me absolutely nuts. But now that I have them dialed properly, shining far enough spread the right distance apart, those steps don't even exist anymore. It's just a clean blended beam of light. Sure, if I'm turning and it shines against the wall of a building, I still see the steps, but that's fine compared to just driving at night and constantly seeing a hard crease step. I don't see that step anymore when driving, so I'm good now. One of the reasons why I had to reshoot this video. Now, another thing I would have liked to see in the instruction manual is just a sort of general baseline of how to have your headlights set up to where you can make small adjustments based off of that. I'm not sure if they send the lights out like that already. They might, I don't know. But yeah, that leaves a lot of the guesswork up to us as consumers when it comes to adjusting your headlights. I think out of the box, my headlights were completely off. Everybody I was driving behind was saying I was shooting a beam directly into their car. I noticed that there wasn't a whole lot of light on the road as much as I thought there should be with brand new LED headlights. And I also noticed when I'm driving on the freeway and you have those overhead, freeway signs, at night, there would be a beam of light just hitting them and reflecting every which way. And that was me shooting the beam at them. And I didn't notice how bad it was until I went off-roading with these one time. And when there was a bunch of dust, I could see the beam of light shooting like diagonal and up off of this right headlight. And I'm like, oh my God, that's why I can't see as well at night as I think I should. That's why I'm illuminating every freeway sign. And that's why all of my buddies keep saying I'm shooting a beam into their truck. So that one was just completely off. I got with my buddy Emmett, we parked the truck 25 feet away from a wall like they suggest in the manual, and we sort of adjusted from there, got things in a general area. And then after driving some more, I started to notice, okay, well, I don't think these headlights are quite up high enough. I can't see as far as I'd like to on a dark road at night. And I also noticed that the lights were shooting sort of like downrange, like it was just a beam downrange. There wasn't a whole lot of, I couldn't see out of the peripheral. I couldn't see sort of in the corners. So I think that was the baseline I wish we had got in the instruction manual or out of the box, Granted, I know every vehicle is lifted different. Some might have some rakes, some might have some cali leans, some might be lifted higher than others. I get that, but just something like a good baseline to go off of. So now that I had that baseline, I knew, okay, I want to adjust them a little bit higher and I want to push them a little bit more out, which is what brought me to doing it last night for the video. Now this is where things are going to start to overlap and jumble from what happened in the last video, what happened last night, why I'm talking about it in this video, and in adjustments overall. So initially off of this base adjustment that Emmett and I did, my biggest problem was just the height of the headlights. I'm like, I need them higher. I can't see far distances. I'm having to turn on my high beams at night to see. I wasn't all that concerned about the beam of light going down range. I thought, okay, like it's not that huge of a deal. It looks super bright. It looks good downrange. So when I was checking the instruction manual again for making this video, I noticed that they say those steps that were driving me crazy, those are supposed to help you mark the center of the beam for each headlight. So at the bottom of the step, right before it steps up, that's the center point of the beam. So last night I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and measure from bulb to bulb. That measured about, I want to say 52 inches from each one. So I know when I'm looking at the beam on the wall from low point to low point, I have to measure 52 inches across, evenly spaced from the center point. So I got from the center of my truck, walked a straight line to the wall and measured center point out, center point out. I'm terrible at math. I think it's 26 inches each way. So that's what really helped me dial in the left to right adjustment on the headlights, is just measuring that center point and getting 26 inches to the low point, center point, 26 inches to the low point. Measure overall, sweet, we're hitting 52 inches. That way I know that these headlights are aiming dead straight. Now when it comes to the height of them, I simply think it's just, again, getting that baseline, driving around for a couple of nights and saying, okay, this beam's not shooting quite as far as I need it to see comfortably, or it's shooting too far, it's too high up, I'm just blinding people through their rear view mirror and going that way. So once I had the side to side dialed in, I went ahead, brought the two levels up, made the lines flat and merged together beautifully. Once I had them matched up nice, I thought, okay, I'm gonna go drive for the next couple nights, see how they look, see if it's far enough, see if I'm blinding people and stuff like that. And oh my God, dude, let me tell you, the difference that adjustment last night made, crazy. Like I said before, there's no longer that hard crease step that I see when I'm driving on the road at night. Love that. It's just a beautiful blend of light. Perfect. I now no longer need to turn on my high beams to see on certain roads because the light's brought up enough, it sees far enough, and I'm not blinding people in their rear view mirror. Now the one thing I am possibly concerned about is, like I said before, I did have them dialed more in, more tucked in, so it was just like a beam of light down range. Now that I have them adjusted out a bit further, it's getting those corners that I couldn't see before, which is nice. I have that peripheral view now, but I'm wondering if that dilutes the light in the center now. Is it not going to be as bright downrange because now it's diluted out a little bit more instead of connecting both beams in the middle? That's the one thing I am concerned about when it comes to off-roading, which, leads us into our next section. In the last video I filmed, the biggest thing that I was praising about these headlights is how amazing they were in a nighttime off-road condition. I was saying, oh my gosh, I don't even need auxiliary lighting anymore, which I didn't. I took this truck out on the night run with the old adjustment, and dude, when I was outside of the pack just driving by myself, I had these on with the high beams, didn't even need the pods on. I was just driving with that, and it was clear as day, straight down range. It was beautiful, super bright. Again, I'm wondering if now that they're spread out and adjusted further up, a little more out, and it's doing a spread of light, is it not gonna be as bright directly in front of me? And also with the old setup, it's not to say that I didn't need auxiliary headlights. I'm just saying that these work so much better than the stock headlights. There is still a need for auxiliary. I needed to see into those corners, the peripheral. I needed the ambers to cut through the dust and stuff like that. I guess I just need to get out and off-road with them again to see how they do now that they're properly adjusted for road driving conditions. So that's where it kind of jumbles my overall opinion, because now I'm forming a whole new opinion, I guess, with a whole new adjustment. So I don't know. Going back to the off-roading thing, I would assume these still are gonna hold up really, really well off-roading because again, they're LED versus halogen. They're just so much more bright, so much more crisp. If you're looking to get like a 2-for-1 sort of deal with looks and lights, I think these are a great option. Not to say that you're not gonna need auxiliary lighting. I still think there is a place for auxiliary lighting. Like I said, if you wanna see off in the peripheral, if you want even brighter downrange, now that I think these might be diluted a little bit with the downrange, I think I'm gonna need more to kind of pick up that slack. And also the ambers to cut through the dust. So there is still room for auxiliary lighting, but if you're sort of like balling on a budget, you want to do some off-roading at night, you want the style, you need new headlights, anything like that, I think these AlphaRex are a great option. And again, the LEDs, not the halogen. So, gosh, I don't know if this video is gonna help anybody because I'm just now realizing while I'm making this video that I need to go out and do more testing with the right adjustment now. I guess this is sort of like a first impression video for you guys. My first impressions, my trials and tribulations of getting them not working 100% properly, to fixing that, to adjusting them again, and getting them to their best point that they've been. So I think this is a good first impression video. I might come back in a few months or even at the end of the off-road season and give an updated video of like, okay, I've driven on them now the way they're supposed to be driven. Here's a good formed opinion on them. So I don't know what I would call this video. Hopefully it helps you guys, especially with the adjustment part. I know it's kind of hard to see the headlights in this video just due to the lighting and stuff. With the Alpha Black option, these things are like mirrors. Like you could see the window that's over there reflecting in it. You could see me reflecting in it. So if you guys wanted to get a good in-person view of these headlights, because I know when I was trying to pick these out, I was trying to look up pictures of these headlights on my second gen Tacoma on this color and this Alpha Black, and it was so hard to find good pictures. So if you guys want to see them in person and get a feel for them yourselves, come down October 19th to Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, where Rodeo X Rigs is going to be hosting their third stop of their 2024 tour. This event is an off-roader's paradise. You have vendors, you have giveaways, you have raffles, you have the whole off-road community together. My truck's gonna be on display at the King booth. I might even have my own booth where I'm selling my t-shirts and my spare tire straps, co-hosting that booth with Down for Mobbing. We're gonna be bringing out 5 badass trucks into the pre-runner section that they just added to this meet. Yes, they just added a pre-runner section to this meet, so I'm super stoked on that. There are so many great reasons why you guys should be coming to this event. And just to add one more to the list, you guys can check out these AlphaRex headlights in person for yourself, pick my brain, ask whatever questions you need. If you guys want more information on that, go ahead and head over to my Instagram where I have the flyer posted, or head over to the Rodeo X Rigs Instagram or their website. That's October 19th in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. free to the public. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sorry I had to refilm it and rush it like this, but again, I hope it helps some of you guys out, and I will be coming with an updated opinion video on them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream.